Welcome back to the podcast. If you're here because sourdough has felt a little confusing, a little frustrating, or harder than you expected, you're in exactly the right place. Around here, we talk about sourdough in a way that's practical, approachable, and rooted in understanding why things work the way they do. So you can bake with confidence instead of second guessing yourself. Today, we're talking about flour, why it matters, how different flours behave, and especially the difference between all-purpose flour and bread flour. We're also going to talk about protein content, why that matters for sourdough, and how one small change can make a big difference in your starter and your bread. So if you've ever wondered why your sourdough doesn't look like everyone else's, grab a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, and let's talk flour. If you've ever made sourdough and thought, why does this feel so hard? Or maybe your starter looks weak, or your dough won't hold its shape, or your bread just doesn't rise the way you expect, I want to say this right up front. You're probably not doing anything wrong. More often than not, it comes down to flour. And today I want to walk you through why flour matters so much in sourdough, especially the difference between all-purpose flour and bread flour, what protein actually does, and how understanding this one thing can make sourdough feel a whole lot easier. When we talk about sourdough, flour is not just an ingredient, it is the foundation. It feeds your wild yeast and bacteria. It affects how strong your dough becomes, and it plays a huge role in fermentation, structure, and rise. That is why two people can follow the exact same recipe and end up with completely different results. So let's start with the question I get asked the most, or can you use all-purpose flour instead of bread flour? The answer is yes, but they behave differently. And the reason comes down to protein content. Let's talk numbers for a moment, and I promise to keep this simple. Most all-purpose flour in the United States contains about 9 to 11% protein, with many brands landing right around 10 to 10.5%. Bread flour usually falls between 11.5% and 13.5% protein, most commonly around 12 to 12.7%. I'll confess, I almost always use Costco's Kirkland brand all-purpose unbleached organic flour, which has 11.5% protein. That's actually more protein than some bread flour I've bought. That difference might not sound huge, but in sourdough, it can matter. And here is why. Protein is what forms gluten when flour is mixed with water. Gluten is what gives your dough strength, elasticity, and the ability to trap gases during fermentation. So more protein means stronger gluten. Stronger gluten means better gas retention, and better gas retention means better rise. So what does that look like in real life when you are baking? When you use all-purpose flour, your dough tends to feel softer and more relaxed. It stretches easily and does not fight you very much. That is why all-purpose flour works beautifully for sandwich loaves, softer crumb breads, and discard recipes. And I want to say this clearly, I use all-purpose flour all the time. When conditions are right, it works beautifully. But if your starter or your bread is struggling, all-purpose flour may not be giving you enough structure, especially if your kitchen runs cool or you are in the early days of building a starter. So how does bread flour behave differently? Because bread flour has more protein, it builds stronger gluten. That means your dough holds its shape better, traps fermentation gases more efficiently, and often gives you better oven spring. If you have ever had dough that spreads instead of rising, or a starter that looks bubbly but will not reliably double, switching to bread flour can feel like flipping a switch. It is not magic, it is protein. Here's a quick way to think about protein levels overall. All-purpose flour usually sits around 9 to 11% protein. Bread flour is higher, around 11.5 to 13.5%. Whole wheat flour often falls around 13 to 14%, but it behaves differently because of the bran. Rye flour is lower in gluten, but very active when it comes to fermentation. Protein helps predict structure, but it is not the whole story. So what about whole wheat flour? Whole wheat flour includes the entire grain, which means more nutrients, more flavor, and faster fermentation. That is a good thing. But the bran in whole wheat interferes with gluten development, which is why whole wheat doughs can feel heavier or tighter, even though the protein number looks high. That is why many bakers start by blending about just 20 to 30% whole wheat with white flour. You get the benefits without giving up structure. Then there is rye flour. Rye behaves very differently from wheat. It is low in gluten, so it does not build structure well, but it is high in enzymes, which means fermentation happens quickly. Rye is often used in small amounts to boost fermentation and add flavor rather than to create strength. Ancient grains are another category that behaves a little differently. Their gluten develops quickly but breaks down faster, which means timing matters more than strength. You usually get softer dough, less dramatic oven spring, but incredible flavor. These flours reward gentle handling and paying attention to fermentation rather than forcing structure. And people also ask whether organic flour makes a difference. Many bakers notice stronger fermentation with organic flour, likely because of fewer chemical treatments and different milling practices. That said, excellent sourdough is absolutely possible with both organic and conventional flour. What matters most is consistency, learning how the flour you use behaves in your kitchen. So with all of that in mind, which flour should you use? Here's the simple answer. If things are working, keep doing what you are doing. If your starter or bread is struggling, try bread flour. If your kitchen runs cool, higher protein can help. If you are baking soft sandwich bread, all-purpose flour often shines. There is no single best flour, only the best flour for your situation. If this episode helped something click for you, that makes me so happy, because sourdough really shouldn't feel hard or intimidating. When your starter or your bread isn't behaving the way you expect, don't assume you're doing something wrong. Very often, it comes down to understanding your ingredients, especially your flour, and how they behave in your kitchen. If you'd like to go deeper, you'll find more sourdough recipes, tips, how-to guides, and tools over at sourdoughsorcery.com. Everything on my site is designed to help you bake with more ease and a lot more confidence. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow or subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got a lot more sourdough goodness ahead. Until next time, happy baking and trust the process.